Now calling cause number 25-04-0325-CVA in the interest of the Lopez and Garcia child or children.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm present. Lucinda Vickers. I represent the petitioner, Ms. Khano.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. John Distrud. I'm here. I represent the respondent, Emiliano Gutierrez, and we're present and ready.
All right, Ms. Vickers, you may proceed.
All right, Your Honor. First of all, I want to tell you that there's an AT&T outage. I had to come to my house. This happened about 10 minutes ago. I don't have a place to be. You may see some cats. I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. But I drove to the house as fast as I could so I could have some service.
All
So
right.
It is what it is. All right, Your Honor. I'd like to call my client, Miranda Khano.
All right, Ms. Khano, take yourself off of mute, please.
Hi.
Please raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony that you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may put your hand down. You may proceed, Ms. Vickers.
All right. Ms. Khano, would you state your full name?
Yes, Miranda Maria Quijano.
And Ms. Khano, you filed a name change on behalf of two of your children. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And which two children are those?
That is Ariana Lopez and Nikolai Garcia.
All right. Before we get to them, how many children in total do you have?
4.
Okay. And so only two of your children are the subject of this name change. Is that right?
Correct.
Right. Do those two children have the same father?
They do.
And what is the name of the father?
Emiliano Garcia or Gutierrez. I'm not sure of his last name currently. As far as I was aware, it was Emiliano Garcia.
Okay. And is he listed, let me ask you this, is he listed on the birth certificate of both children as the father?
He is.
Okay. Now, the older child is Ariana, is that right?
Correct.
How old is she?
She's going to be 14 next month. She's 13 right now.
Okay. And is there there was an attorney general case regarding her in the past, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And so at that time, your son, Nikolai, had not been born, is that right?
Correct.
All right. So in the attorney general's order, was Mr. Garcia declared to be the father of Ariana?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any child support established in that order?
There was, yes.
Okay. And so do you remember approximately when that was?
I believe that was 2014 that the court order is from. She was a few years old at that time.
Okay. Has Mr. Garcia paid for and stayed up to date on his child support payments?
He has not. I received some initially that first year, I guess 2014 or so. And this year, the last, maybe 4 or 5 months, I've started receiving payment. But in between that time, I never received payment.
Okay. So do you have any idea what the arrears are at this point?
I do not.
Okay. All right. Now, did he receive some visitation during that time period?
He did.
All right. Has he exercised that visitation?
He has not.
So when would you say the last time Mr. Garcia saw this child was, the older child?
It was sometime late last year. He showed up to a couple of her games. She was playing volleyball, I guess, at the time. So he's seen her in passing. He has asked to see her in the last few months, but he hasn't shown up per the court order on the correct day, requested to see her and taken her, nothing to that extent. And just kind of to point out, my daughter, like I said, she's going to be 14 next month. I know it's not just her decision, but she is not wanting a relationship with him right now.
Objection, Your Honor. It's hearsay.
Sustained.
All right. So, Ms. Khano, in your opinion, would you say that there is an ongoing relationship between Mr. Garcia and Ariana?
No.
Okay. Now, the younger child, Nikolai, is there an attorney general court order regarding that child?
No.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's going to be 9 next month, so he's 8 currently.
Okay. So there's no court order establishing any kind of legal parent-child relationship or visitation or conservatorship regarding Mr. Garcia and this child. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Has Mr. Garcia seen Nikolai at all or had any contact with Nikolai?
Contact, I believe they've kind of texted in the last few months here and there, kind of same thing. He's shown up to certain games and see him in passing, but he hasn't, my son hasn't gone over to see him or anything to that effect.
Okay. Now, your current last name is Khano, is that right?
Correct.
And are you currently married?
I am.
And so the other children that you have, are they children of this relationship with the man that you're currently married to?
Yes.
Okay. And so what is those children's last name?
Khano. I have two children with my husband, and they share the last name Khano.
Okay, so in your family, there are 4 children and 2 adults. 4 of you have the last name of Khano, and these 2 children do not, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, Ariana's last name you have is Lopez. Where did that come from?
That's my maiden last name. So she never had her biological father's last name. She had my maiden name her entire life until I got married 3 years ago. Now she still carries my maiden name, and I am Khano.
Okay. And Nikolai is named Garcia because you believe that to be the father's last name. Is that right?
Correct. He was given his father's last name at birth.
Okay. Now, you've asked for a name change, and we've also had Ariana do a consent to the name change. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. And
At this
you
time,
believe-
I'll take judicial notice of the court's file that the written consent of the child is attached to the petition.
Okay. Have you observed with your 2 children that have a different name than the rest of the family? Have you observed any kind of concerns regarding that have been displayed by the children?
They definitely both wish to be Khano. Again, my daughter carried my maiden last name. So since I've been married, she's asked numerous times in the last few years that we change her last name. And my son as well, he's definitely old enough, to voice what he wants, and he does want to be Khano as well. As far as concerns or issues, we've definitely in the past, it's been an issue with travel, for instance. Their biological father has been in and out of the system, and so there's been times he's been incarcerated. We've wanted to get passports for the kids, and that hasn't played out just because, again, he hasn't been there to sign a notarized form for them. So yeah, it's what they both wish, and again, I do think it's in both of their best interest, just based on their situation and our family situation.
Okay. So it is your belief that it is difficult for them to have a different last name than the rest of the family?
Yes.
All right. Now, you certainly understand that this is in no way any kind of change or termination of any kind or reflection on the father's rights to see his children or file a petition to be declared the father of Nikolai and to get a visitation schedule. You realize that a name change impacts none of that. Is that correct?
Right. Correct.
Okay. All right. And so you believe it's in the children's best interest that everybody in the family have the same name, and you believe this is for the best for the children.
Correct.
All right. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. District.
Ma'am, I'm looking at the original petition for change of name. And second paragraph, it says this suit is brought by Miranda Khano, also known as Miranda Marie Khano, also known as Miranda Marie Lopez. So how many names have you used in the past?
Just my maiden name, Miranda Maria Lopez, and my current Miranda Maria Khano. I've never changed my name outside of with marriage.
So you've been married to Mr. Khano for how long?
About 3 years.
You have any children with him?
2.
Okay, the 2 younger children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, the name you named your son Nikolai, reflecting the father's paternity, right? You said that that was intentional, wasn't it?
At his birth, yes, when he was first born.
And so now this would essentially reflect that the father is the stepfather. The stepfather would be the father, taking his surname, correct?
Well, I'm not asking for like an adoption or anything to that effect. I really just want my kids to share my last name, their siblings, and yes, their stepdad, who they view as a father, honestly, for all intents and purposes.
So what happens if you get divorced from Mr. Keanu? Are you going to change your name again? And then are you going to change your kid's name again?
No, I mean, so their stepfather, Paul Khano, has been in their life for the last 5 years. I will just say that in the last 5 years, he's played more of an active, consistent role than their biological father ever has. We've only ever had months of consistency from their biological father. I'm sure he wouldn't disagree. Again, he's been in and out of the system. He's had addiction issues, which I know's, again, it's just relative to the kid's experience with him. Again, it's what my kids have asked. They view their stepfather as their dad. They understand that he's not their biological dad, but he's their football coach, basketball coach. He works on their homework in the evenings. We have dinners every night together. So for the last 5 years, he's played more of a role again than their biological father ever has.
Well, now your testimony was Emiliano has been attempting to have visitation with the kids, right?
In the last few months, but my daughter's going to be 14. So the last
Well,
few months, I don't think
she's 14. So in your opinion, she gets to decide what she wants to do.
she doesn't get to decide, but that's what she wants, and I agree. It's in her best
So,
interest.
okay, all right. So you could, and so do you, so again, if your daughter didn't want to go to school, okay, you would
That
make her
wouldn't be
go
in
to
her
school.
best interest.
It wouldn't be
So
in
I
her best
wouldn't.
interest, would it?
No,
But
no.
you haven't sought to modify the order to restrict Emiliano's visitation. As your attorney said, all this is doing is changing the name,
Right,
right?
exactly. I'm not trying to.
But you would agree you haven't
Sorry,
exactly
go ahead.
facilitated visitation. He's asked to see the kids, and you haven't allowed him to do that, right?
He's asked to see the kids in the last year, but again, my daughter's going to be 14, and so
Your daughter's not old enough to drive a car, ma'am. She
I
doesn't get to
understand that.
decide whether or not she's going to see her dad or not, right?
No, but again, whenever she wants something, me being the parent, I will consider what she's asking, and if I agree
I'll pass the
with
witness,
what
Your
she's
Honor.
asking
I'll pass
for,
the
I
witness.
do that with everything when she asks me about school or any other decisions.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Ms. Vickers.
I have no further questions of Ms. Keanu.
All right, Ms. Keanu, can you just tell me about the circumstances when you named both the children? So when Ariana Lopez was born, who was around to make the decision for the last name?
So I was a teen mom when I had my daughter. I was 18, about to be 19, and so it was honestly a decision that my parents first brought up because I still lived with my parents, and it's something that we ultimately agreed. We didn't know what type of role he would play in her life at that point. And of course, after she was born, those first few years, a lot of it was me trying to make the family work. I was really striving to keep our family together. And so we broke up in those initial years. That's when he first put himself on child support. We ended up getting back together, and then we then had Nikolai, our son. When he was less than a year old is when his father, Emiliano, kind of really fell hard into addiction issues, and that's when he got his first felony charge. So my son's entire life has really been surface level, like through a phone relationship. He, outside of like the generic basic questions that you could know of a person, there's really no deeper.
So I really want to know who was part of the decision-making factor when Ariana Lopez was around. Was when she was born, was Mr. Garcia there helping you fill out the paperwork as to what the child's name was going to be?
He was present, yes.
And did y'all make that decision together that her name was going to be Ariana Lopez?
Yes, he was aware of that, and he made that decision with me.
Okay. Same thing for Nikolai. When Nikolai was born, did y'all make the decision together on what Nikolai's last name was going to be, or did you make that decision by yourself?
He was present as well. So yeah, we did make that together.
Okay. All right. Any further questions, Ms. Vickers, after that?
No, Your Honor, I don't have any questions for Ms. Khano.
Anything else, Mr. Disroot, after I asked my question?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Vickers, you can make call your next witness.
I don't have any further witnesses, Your Honor. I rest at this time.
All right, Mr. Disroot, you may call your first witness.
Call my client, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia, take yourself off of mute, please, and raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony that you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you may put your hand down.
I swear, yes.
You may proceed.
Mr. Garcia, you go by the name Garcia, correct?
Correct.
And so you heard your ex testify earlier about the kids in response to what the judge asked. When your daughter was born, were you there at that time and when her name was when y'all gave her the name Lopez?
Yes, I was there, and there was a disagreement between me and her parents because me being so young, I was 15, when I was 16, and they were afraid that I wasn't going to be able to provide, being not old enough to even get a job. So basically, her parents were, for them to help with her and the kid, they had to take her maiden name. That they were going to help out. If not, they were going to put her and the baby out on the street. So that was the whole capitulation for taking Lopez as my daughter's last name, even though I was there.
So were you and Miranda both teenagers then when all this
Yes.
happened?
Correct.
Minors?
Correct.
Okay, so then it was a little bit of a different situation with your son, and just tell us about that.
So pretty much, as you said, we broke up, and then we got back together trying to make it work. And then we had my son. I was there. And of course, I wasn't the perfect spouse. I have my flaws, but I was there for my kids, and I was there for my daughter. And in 2017, when my son was 10 months old, I got in trouble with the federal government, and I went away for 5 years, and I got released in 2023, and I also got, me and her were on an okay basis until she got with her current husband. We had an open line of communication and everything, and slowly but surely, it just started getting more and more distant with the kids, and they just they'll have a line about, well, they'll say, well, if you just stay out of trouble for this long, you can see them, and then we'll come to that date, and then they'll keep pushing the line back further and further, and I'll try to go to the games, and it'll constantly be issues. I go to the football games, and we'll have disagreements, and they'll be witness, like her family would be there, my brother and everybody would be there, and they didn't want me around. It was like they were pushing me out from being around my own kids, and I can kind of see where they were coming from, because coming out of prison, they were worried about how if I was gonna be consistent with the kids, and I kind of didn't want to make waves this whole time. That's why I kind of been towing the line of just more like just going with whatever they say, just trying whatever I can, just trying not to cause waves, and really, like, I've sent certified letters. I've texted her, and instead of her responding, her husband will respond, talking about not to message her, and then he'll say that they're too busy right now.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is all hearsay, and I realize that we've kind of strayed far away from the subject that's the subject of this lawsuit, which is the name change, and this is beginning to sound more like enforcement testimony. So I'm going to object to that.
Your Honor,
Sustain as to hearsay, but we sort of opened the door as far as what's going on with visitation and child support. So I'll allow the line of questioning, just not hearsay questions. Go ahead, Mr. Disroot.
yes, Your Honor. So you've attempted to see your kids, but would it be fair to say that Miranda has not not allowed that?
Correct.
Okay. And so, obviously you were in prison and then you were released in 2023, right?
Correct.
Are you on supervised release?
No.
You finished that?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been paying child support?
Correct.
Okay. And so, why do you object to your children, why their mother changing their name?
So to be honest, with my daughter, if she really wants to change her name, um, how should I say? I'm resigning to the fact that to let her. But for my son, I want him because I've been trying to be there for him, and I want to be a part of his life. And they're saying that the only reason they want to change the name is for like passports. All they have to do is talk to me to get permission, and I'm more than willing to work with them. I have no problems with communication or anything whatsoever.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Vickers, go ahead.
Mr. Garcia, now you have a court order regarding visitation with Ariana. Is that right? From 2014?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it has set times, places, and dates for you to exercise your visitation?
It has a broad layout, correct?
I'm sorry, what?
It has a basic layout, so we're supposed to have 50-50 custody. So like it's supposed to be every other weekend. It's supposed to be every other holiday, and
Okay.
so on and so forth.
Okay, so have you attempted to follow that schedule when in your attempts to visit with Ariana?
I've reached out multiple times, not just me, but also with my
But Mr.
mother.
Garcia,
And
that's not my, let's stop for a second. That's not my question. My question
Yes, ma'am.
is, have you attempted to go by that schedule that's in the court order? Yes or no?
I haven't kept up with it. No, I have not. No,
Okay. All right. Now, your son is how old?
8.
Okay. And so he's 8 years old. Have you attempted to file a lawsuit to be established by a court order as his father and to get, a visitation schedule going with Nikolai? Have you attempted that?
Yes, I filed with the Attorney General. Yes, I filed back in
When-
February.
Okay. So February of 2025.
Correct.
Okay. And do you have any idea what the progress is on that case?
It's still so it's pending. They're waiting for the case officer, I believe it's called, to review it. I've just checked up with them in the past last week, and then multiple times in incremental settings.
Okay. Now, there's been some confusion about your name. Ms. Quijano said that she understood that at some point you may have been going by Gutierrez. Why would you be using the name Gutierrez?
I believe it was just a miscommunication. My name is Garcia. Gutierrez is my stepfather's name, but I don't know, maybe there was some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding that has to be, but it's been Garcia.
Okay. Also, in the Attorney General order from 2014, your last name or your name is referred to as Vallejo, Emiliana Vallejo. So where did Vallejo come from?
So Vallejo was my birth name for my biological father, and we dropped it when I was very young and moved it to my mother's maiden name, which is Garcia.
Okay. So did you do that through the court?
Yes.
So you changed your own name through the court. Were you a child when that happened or an adult?
No, I was a child when we did this.
Okay, so you were the subject of a name change that your parents or your mom or someone filed on your behalf when you were a child.
Yes, my biological father gave up his rights.
Okay, did he terminate his rights or was it just a name change or do you know?
No, he terminated his rights completely.
Okay, all right. Okay, now you said for Ariana, if you felt like she really wanted to change her name, I think what you were trying to say is you wouldn't object to that.
I am reluctant to it but I am open to communication to see how it really would benefit her, because they're saying the only reason they want the name change is for like travel purposes and so on and so forth. But they can just communicate with me for that. And
Okay, well, that's not exactly what Miss Khano testified to. Well, let me ask you this. She doesn't have your last name. Her name is
Correct.
Lopez. So
Correct.
why would that impact? I mean, what would be the difference between her being known as Lopez or Khano? Neither one of them is either one of your names.
correct. So I said I would be reluctant to him, but I'm not opposed to it, as my first statement was.
Okay. So you're not opposed to her going by Khano?
No.
Okay. All right. I mean, do you think it's in Nikolai's best interest for in the family where he lives, where his name is different from everybody else's? You think that's best for him?
I don't see how he would be treated. If it's his family, they should treat him the same no matter what.
I'm not talking about his family treating him. I'm talking about how he gets treated outside the family, in school, and the doctors, other people saying, why are you the only one in the family that has a different last name? That's what I'm talking about. They're not going to treat him differently, the family.
If I'm not mistaken, in today's day and age, it's more common than you're currently leading on, and right now I don't see how it would be a problem. There's multiple families who have all kinds of names that are way beyond, so it's not something new in this day and age.
Okay,
Especially,
so you don't think it's any big deal?
as far as him having a different last name,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
no.
You don't think it's any? Okay. All right. All right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Dissery.
Is your objection that the stepfather is essentially claiming paternity by using by assignment of his name to your son?
Correct.
That's all I have.
Anything else, Ms. Vickers?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I find I have subject matter jurisdiction and jurisdiction over the parties in this case. I find that I've already taken judicial notice of the entire court's file, and I find that there was a consent to name change signed by Ariana Lopez. This court is granting the name change request as to Ariana Lopez and changing her name to Ariana Rose Khano. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yes, it's Ariana Rose, and then it would be Khano if you did the name change.
Okay. And I'm denying the request as to Nikolai Garcia. His name will remain unchanged. What I'm doing here is basically Mr. Garcia has acquiesced to the name change from Ariana since she's 14 years old, and he's recognizing that she can make some of these decisions on her own. I will say, however, that 14-year-olds generally do not get to make decisions about themselves or their names or anything else. They can consent to they have to consent in writing after they're 10 years old to a name change, but that doesn't mean they make all the decisions, such as Ariana should not be making decisions as to whether or not her father will be exercising his visitation. Okay. All right, that's all. That is it for today. And if someone wants to just get me a written order, I will sign off on that once I find that in my eval queue.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
I will try to do that quickly, Your Honor. I think the internet is down at my office until late tonight, so it's probably going to take me a couple days to get that done.
No worries. I'll find it when I'll get it when I get it.
All right, that sounds fine, Your Honor. I'll submit it to Mr. Disserid first for his approval.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
All
Goodbye.
right.